This is the new Lamborghini Urus S, a 660 horsepower tornado of an SUV that performs like a supercar with the practicality of a family car. And this is the Coppa de Alpi, a 1,000-mile endurance race tackling the most challenging alpine passes across 4 countries in just a few days.
Now, you're probably quite rightly wondering, what am I doing in a brand new Lamborghini when everybody else seems to be in classic cars? Well, I was honored to be asked by MrJWW to be their official brand ambassador, which has blown my mind. This is one of the most esteemed, beautiful, I guess mesmerizing car rallies on earth. Now, ahead of the main event, we weren't able to get our low drag E-Type out here in time for this. This is the Coppa de Alpi, which is a kind of prologue in effect to the main event in June. But we wanted to get a flavor of what we're letting ourselves in for, because in June, we're doing the big show. There's over 700 cars taking part. This is one of the largest car rallies in the world. So in order to get a flavor, our friends at MrJWW put us in touch with Lamborghini, who gave us this 2023 brand new, fresh from the factory, Lamborghini Urus S, no less. And this is going to allow us to get involved, speak to participants, check out the route, get a feeling for the culture, and importantly, share with you what our journeys are going to be like on the MrJWW in the future. Truly, when I say this, it is one of the most beautiful events in the world. I can't wait to take you along for the ride. So it seems there's a few things we need here. It seems we need a big mustache, a really cool car, and importantly, a fat cigar that looks like it's going to burn for a week. And then you're fully inducted. So this is it. One of the things which I've noticed about this, I guess, culture and event is it's this sort of equal balance of taking it really seriously and having a phenomenal celebration of life. It's a really interesting thing because on the one hand, you've got, I mean, who in their right mind? We're about to go through the Alps in winter. Last night it was -12, and these guys are about to embark on a 1,000-kilometer journey with no roof. What makes you, just out of interest, what makes you want to do this with no roof in the winter through the Alps?
Because we think it's really fun to do. Beautiful scenery, beautiful cars, nice people, and it's Italy, so the food is also good. Huh?
Perfect. I love it. Well, listen, we'd love to catch up with you on the route.
Okay.
Have a great time.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Compared with the main MrJWW event in June, the Coppa de Alpi is by comparison a much smaller affair, but it's not to be underestimated. We've got nationalities from all corners of the world coming to challenge the freezing passes that lay ahead of them. But the hurdles start long before you even start driving. Entrants work tireless hours to prepare and maintain their incredible classic cars months before the event even starts. Paperwork has to be filled, scrutineering takes place, timing equipment is calibrated before the cars are even put into transport to head to Italy for the race to begin. Many rallies have been attended. So if we need any advice, find this guy, because he knows what he's doing. These guys, honestly, they take it incredibly seriously. And actually, a successful result in the MrJWW, those stickers there actually class as real races, real events. And a history like that can actually add to the value of the car if the car and drivers do well. So it's not just fun, this. That's why they take it quite seriously. All right, we're finally on the road in the Urus S, no less. I mean, these things are basically factory fresh. They're brand new cars. It's physics bending. We are on our way to wave the flag to get this race underway. But before we get to flag drop, we get some tight, twisty roads to explore and give you a top line really about what this car's all about. So 660 horsepower, pretty much. It's run through a ZF automatic box. Now, they've actually done some fantastic calibration on this thing because I'm not sure if you can hear on those downshifts. It's razor sharp, but listen to it on the upshifts. Are you ready? It's got some serious pull. The relationship that they've managed to achieve between the engine and gearbox on this, despite the fact that it is a more conventional auto, is almost as almost as crisp as a twin clutch box. It's not quite, but the reason that they maintained a more conventional automatic ZF 8-speed is because ultimately this needs to be all things to all people. It needs to be a performance car on the road, but equally, you might want to tow something with it. So if you're a rare Lamborghini owner with a caravan, maybe? But it's more likely that you're going to be towing your Huracan STO to the racetrack, and inherently twin clutch boxes aren't that well at coping with towing and coping with torque. So Lambo made the decision to maintain a more practical automatic box. But honestly, the calibration, it's so sharp. What they've done with the chassis control, the rear wheel steering, is some Italian witchcraft of physics bending tech, because this car weighs just over 2 tons. You heard that right. But it drives like a genuine sports car. And I'm not just saying that. The front end turn-in on this is ridiculous. And we're on cold tarmac with cold tires. And every time you turn it in, you think there's no way. This is going to understeer now, surely. And it just doesn't. It just hucks up and goes. Speaking of hucks up and goes, listen to that action, that gearbox. Wow. Honestly, for a conventional auto, upshifts are seriously crisp.
A few hours and many switchbacks later, we arrived in St. Moritz, one of Europe's most glamorous ski resorts, ahead of waving the flag to get the race underway. St. Moritz is like Bond Street in the snow. Every high-end label you can think of has claimed some space along the picturesque streets of the town. Sadly, I'm only here just a few hours, but it's an example of just one of the many awesome locations that this event takes you.
Well, we're about to wave the flag to officially get this race underway, but now we've got some elevation. Well, it's flipping freezing, so we're going to get some Chopin coffee. I mean, there's petrol heads and there's petrol heads, right? I mean, it's cold. It's like really sub-zero cold here in a big way. Like, I'm freezing. The only way of keeping my hands warm is holding this coffee. These guys are about to set off on a race through the Alps in a 1930s Type 37 Bugatti. I actually think that's a 37A, which means it's supercharged, but that's besides the point. The fact is, not only does it have no roof, it's got no doors, no windscreen, and he always seems happy. He's always smiling. I think my nose would actually fall off.
Now at this point, things started to get rather quite serious, as a cheery lady called Fulvia from the Mille Miglia emerged holding the ceremonious Italian flag, while two incredibly esteemed veterans of endurance racing made sure that I knew exactly the timings of when to wave said flag, one of which was none other than Alberto Piantoni, the CEO of the entire Mille Miglia organization.
It's exactly 15 seconds past.
And the timekeeper gave the time card to the crew.
They give the card and
Okay. Okay. And then every minute after?
everything in your answer, 2 cars.
2 cars every minute.
So every 30 seconds, there's a new car. Okay, and then 80, 15, 30.
30, yeah.
Okay,
But normally, they are used to make the 2 cars together.
right,
Without waiting the 30 seconds.
sure.
They wait for
Okay.
the other minutes.
Right. Okay.
Now I know what you're thinking. This guy knows exactly what he's talking about. I mean, come on, how hard can waving a flag be? The thing is, everyone here has traveled from all corners of the world to take this time trial seriously, and the very foundation of their first timing cards of the event rest on me, brandishing the national pride of Italy at accurate 30-second intervals.
Ciao. Have a good day. Have a good day. Do you know what? I never thought it would be an emotional thing, waving this flag, but now the more I've thought about it, what this represents today, also just growing up a massive petrol head. I mean, let's face it, some of the best supercars in the world made by this country right here. And to be here as an official ambassador of this incredible event, I can't tell if the goosebumps are from the emotion or the cold, but it's absolutely awesome. There are timed stages, and the participants have to interpret from the road book which they are given, which is full of hieroglyphics, as to what the optimum average speed will be in order to complete each stage. And these are down to the milliseconds. The person that gets the most accurate average time across all stages wins. That's basically how it works. All right, this has got me thinking. We have a few melee events throughout the year. The big one, the full-fat 700 car entry, is in June. And we've got to work out, source, or decide what car we're going to take on that event. Now, if we wanted to take the low drag E-Type, I think we're going to need to get a special entry for that, just by the way the different eras and genres of the cars are classified. But there's also an official Ferrari tribute event which follows the exact same route of the melee, where we could potentially enter the 355. So that'd be quite cool. Or we could look to source something that is period correct for one of the categories of the Mille Miglia itself. Comments below. What do you reckon? I just really like the idea of taking one of our own cars, because the memories that it would create and associate with that car would just be amazing. So let's see. Comments below. What should we take? All right, first fuel stop of the trip. We are averaging about 17 miles per gallon, which I don't know if that's good or bad, really. I know by a figure it's not great, but you know, twin turbocharged V8 with 660 horsepower, and it weighs 2 tons. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, what else do you expect? You know, it's going to drink with 2 straws. But so far, all of those miles have been incredibly enjoyable. Got empty. There you go. Yeah, 107 euros will do. Just fine. Thanks for coming. Let's just take a moment to look at the size of the ceramic brakes on this thing. I believe they are the largest ceramic brakes on a production car. Look at that. That's unbelievable. See the size of those? Hand for context. They are huge. I think my first car had smaller wheels than that. Never mind brakes. Absolutely incredible. There's often, on trips like this, you don't account for the swag you get. Look at this bag. So we've got 2 of these, and they are packed full of Coppa de Alpi goodies.
Jacket on.
I'm going to try the jacket. I think the jacket's super cool. Nah, put it in there. Right, let's check out the jacket. I think it's quite cool. This is mostly for the people that don't have heated seats. Look at the detail on that. That's really nice. And the branding is so nice. Tell you what, this is one of the best jackets I've had as swag. Super nice. It might look like I'm about to take place in a yachting competition. That being said, I think it's a really nice jacket. The thing is, everyone's walking around with these on, and so right now everyone looks like a team, like they're part of an event. When you go back home, you might look a bit keen. Beautiful, look at that.
Cool.
Oh, it's so nice, actually. Ooh, that's cool. Right, I suppose I'm going to pay for this fuel. Okay, so earlier on I was referring to the route book, of which this is it, and I referenced the hieroglyphics. so this is what Yorkie should be doing if he wasn't filming. So these are all of the turns, distances, timings that Yorkie would have to interpret. Keep a track of the distance that we've done per stage in order to work out if you're taking the right turning. It takes quite a bit of time to get into this, and you know, earlier on when we saw that car with lots of stickers on it, that's why I was saying let's speak to that guy if we don't know what we're doing, because he is well versed in the way of the hieroglyph. So, but look at it. I mean, it's so thick. So if you get one of those wrong and you miss a turning, you're basically out of the event that day, unless you work your way back and figure it out somehow. And the pickup of the throttle. That was a photographer, by the way, not a speed camera. These mountain passes are fairly empty, and this is the first time we've got the opportunity to sort of stretch the legs. I mean, listen to that engine. Stretch the legs of the Urus S, and honestly, it's This is a classic case of something being greater than the sum of its parts, because on paper it doesn't sound like a big upgrade, but from my memory of driving the previous gen Urus, this thing is razor sharp. One of the things that is probably the best feature about this car, actually, outside of the engine itself, the brakes, those massive carbon ceramics, it just gives you so much confidence to use all of that power. 660 horsepower in this thing. I mean, honestly, it pulls incredibly well, and I'm particularly impressed. Upshifts on autos, always fine. It's the downshifts which are hard to master, and under heavy braking, under downshifts, pops and bangs on the overrun, sounds awesome. So look, we've barely scratched the surface of this car. We're going to be using it for 1,000 miles, and 90% of those 1,000 miles are going to be on roads like this. So it's going to be very interesting to see the character of this car unfold.
After concluding the first day's drive with a literal red carpet celebration, we were treated to some rather interesting local Swiss delicacy.
Many meats here. So there's hot stones on everyone's table. So we start with some lamb, and then there's deer, and then there's duck, and then there's bacon, and then there's, donkey. Never had donkey. It's actually taking a long time. Like a disproportionately long time for such a small piece of meat.
When it's finished, bro, it's so good. The donkey test.
This is my first taste. Cheers. First taste of donkey. What would you say it was if someone said...
Familiar.
What is it? Like, very familiar. It's kind of steaky-ish. The texture's just like a burger patty.
Yeah, it looks like one.
You wouldn't know it's donkey burger.